Good morning, my loves. Happy Tuesday. It is a beautiful morning here at the lake. Right now, believe it or not, it's 76 degrees, which I know that is just unheard of. Story behind that. Yesterday, we had a monsoon. Now, our monsoon is not like the monsoons you see in Singapore, completely different monsoon. On my way home from work yesterday, the alarms are going off on my phones, and it said that there is a monsoon on the way. Now, that is more than rain. The first part of a monsoon is a dirt storm. You will see this huge wall of dirt coming at you. And the first time you see it, it's like a biblical proportion, because then you understand things that they went through. I mean, this is a natural phenomenon. But if you're from the Midwest or from the East Coast, you probably have never experienced this. Years ago, when I moved here from the Midwest, it was like, you're kidding, until I saw it and I was like, holy crap. So I'm driving in this and I see it approaching and it's getting closer and closer. And on one side of me, the sky is getting darker, like thunderstorm dark. But on the other side, it's getting brown. And that's the wall of dirt and sand coming. And traffic's moving best it can. I pulled in the carport just as it hit. And as I pulled in, the wind hit and you can feel it. I mean, it will rock your car. So I was able to park. I was able to get in the apartment. I took a little bit of a video that I did post that you could see it starting at the lake. And it's just phenomenal. And that will continue for probably 15 or 20 minutes. And then that is followed by the thunderstorm. And who doesn't love a thunderstorm? Other than my cat. My cat was scared to death. Bless his heart. Finn was hiding under the bed crying when I came in. So the thunderstorm started. And in the Midwest, and I would assume most places, you have a thunderstorm, and then there's that glorious smell of ions in the air, that clean, fresh, wonderful smell. Well, in Arizona, we don't have that, because after the thunderstorm, it smells like wet mud. Yeah, it's great. And the temps drop. So we went from like 107, 106, something like that, down to 92. That we'll take it. That counts. And then during the night, it got down into the 70s. Right now, it's 76. Kind of cool. However, people will say, oh my gosh, sleep with your windows open. Can't do that here. No, because of several things. Well, we have lizards. We have scorpions. We have snakes. If you leave your windows open, you'll have a house full of dirt, because the dirt filters in continually. I mean, it's the desert. You cannot get away from the dirt. So there you go. Monsoon 101. Now, yesterday, I did a bit on the mean girls, on people that are just mean, nasty people. Huge response from parents. Oh my gosh. I love that. And I got a couple of notes saying, please do more on kid stuff. Okay. So today we are going to discuss, now this is primarily, well, it's for kids of all ages, but more like elementary school, elementary school, middle school kind of stuff. But it does apply to high school as well. So you pack your baby up and you send them off to school. Well, at that point, it becomes a team effort. I cannot clarify this or state this strong enough. It is not the teacher's job to parent your child. Their role is to teach your child a curriculum. They are not there to give your child their medicine, to make sure your child eats all their lunch, to make sure your child does this or that or wears a sweater. That's not their job, honey. It's not. They are there to teach a curriculum. But so often, I have friends that are teachers, they get overwhelmed with expectations of parents, and teachers are wonderful people. The ones that I know are wonderful people. And, they want to help. They want to do the best they can, but they are not the mommy and the daddy. Y'all are. So as much as it is a cooperative effort, a team effort. Everybody has to do their own part. So your kid has a bad night. Everybody's arguing at home or whatever, and they go to school and they don't feel good or they're fussy or grumpy or whatever. You send a note and you let the teacher know, we had a death in the family or this happened or that happened. And, little Billy Bob or Mary Sue may not be having the best day. That's fine. The teacher can, maybe give them a juice box, kind of encourage them a little bit more, cut them a little slack. By the same token, when your child has homework or has a book report, whatever, and the teacher sends this stuff home, it's your job as a parent to make sure that happens. Of course, it's the child's job. About to yawn again. Yep. But more than anything, it's your job to supervise and make sure it happens. Check the portals, communicate with the teachers. The teachers want to communicate with you. It has to be a team effort to get your child through the curriculum. If the curriculum is something your child does not understand, you don't think that they can do it, well, it doesn't mean they have to be held back or put in an IEP class. It just means maybe they need a tutor. Maybe they need a little extra help. Maybe you need some help understanding new math, because trust me, the math my son was, had in, my son was born in 79. And so when he was in the 80s, they had math that wasn't the math that I did back in the 60s, trust me. And it was like, seriously, why can't, 4 apples plus 3 apples just be 7 apples? Why do you have to do it the hard way? But they do for critical thinking. Okay, fine. Parents have to learn this. It is. It is not fun, but you got to do it. Your kids are worth it. Just learn it. Get together with other parents and everybody do it together. Oh, I'm so sorry. Long night again. So just make it a team effort. It is not your teacher's job to discipline your child. And if your child did something bad at home, don't expect the teacher to carry through with a punishment. I hear that sometimes. So-and-so's grounded, so don't let them on the playground. It doesn't work like that. Sorry. School is school, home is home. But please keep the lines of communication open with the teachers and with the administration. Keep your kids accountable. If they have homework, it's their responsibility, not yours, to do their homework. Never, ever do your child's homework for them. Don't. Because the day of the test, you're not there to take the test for them and they're going to fail the test. People don't think about that. You do your part as a parent to make sure they learn the lessons. Sit with them, read with them, explain things to them, get them a tutor, do the parent-teacher meetings, whatever it takes to make sure your child learns the curriculum. Which brings me to notes coming home from school. Now, my son did have a couple of notes sent home because Jeff was a bit of a social butterfly. He liked to talk. Can't imagine where he got that. And I would have to go talk to the teacher and he would be there and we would promise, we're not going to visit as much and the usual things that, happens in first and second grade. He outgrew that, thank God. But please attend the parent-teacher meetings if at all possible. If you can't go to the school, do it via Zoom or whatever chat thing they have, but sit down with the teachers on a regular basis. Find out your child's progress. Find out what the shortcomings are, where they need to work. Because the teachers want your child to progress to the next level. Absolutely. But it's a team effort. I cannot stress that enough. It is a team effort. Please, parents, make sure your kids have breakfast. And I do not mean donuts and Captain Crunch. Feeding your kids sugar before school, they're going to eat, their blood sugar is going to go up and spike, and then they're going to drop and crash. And then they're going to get grumpy and sleepy about 10 o'clock. And it's not going to be fun. Teachers still have to, teach, even though everybody's grumpy and sleepy and snappy and snarly. So please watch what you feed your kids. Yeah, Pop Tarts are convenient, but it doesn't work. Feed your kids a decent breakfast. Even if it's breakfast sandwiches that you put in the microwave, at least they're getting protein. And that's what they need. They need protein, not sugar. I cannot stress this enough. If your kid is sick and running a fever, please do not send your child to school, because then you're going to have a whole classroom full of sick kids, which is going to come home to sick families. And yeah, that's not cool either. But it has to be teamwork. Absolutely, positively teamwork. Teachers do not hate your child. No matter what your kid says, in all likelihood, your teacher does not, the child's teacher does not hate the child. The child just thinks he does, because maybe he's being held accountable. Maybe he's being called to the blackboard to show his work, and he doesn't know it because he didn't do his homework, because he was watching TV, or he was on Xbox, or he didn't want to do it. Keep your child accountable. Make sure your child is a good citizen in the classroom, that they get along with others. You have no idea what other kids may go home to. They may go home to loving families, loving parents, have dinner with their parents and their siblings, and have a great life. And then again, they may not. They may go home and nobody's there. They may go home and have to put one of those little mac and cheese in the microwave for themselves and their siblings, and make sure their siblings eat, because mom and dad, maybe they're at work, maybe they're out at the bar, maybe they're in rehab. But it's up to this 10-year-old to keep the family together and make it happen. That's not fair, but it happens. A 10-year-old might be responsible for laundry, making sure everybody has their baths and gets to bed and has relatively clean clothes in the morning. They're so busy being mom, they don't have time for homework. Keep that in mind. So instead of your kids making fun of another child, have them lift them up. If you know of a child that isn't getting lunch, talk to the school. Make sure that you take care of somebody's, I don't know, we used to call them lunch tickets when my son was in school, because they would punch the little lunch card in the cafeteria. Not everybody has cafeterias. So maybe you can pack some extra stuff for your child he can share with someone, because it is a reality. Sometimes kids go without food. They go without clothes because mom and dad just may not have the money. They have to use hand-me-downs, things that don't fit. They don't have a choice. The parents may feel horrible. The parents may not give a rat's ass, but it's the child carrying that burden. Don't pick on the child. It's not the child's fault. At some schools, they have, I don't know what to call it. It's like a storage room, but it's with clothes and shoes and coats and sweaters. And if somebody tears their pants or their sweater, or something happens with a shoe, they can go in and get another pair of shoes, and it will be fine. Accidents happen at school. So you might talk to your school about starting this program. So when something happens and there's an accident at school, there are other clothes available to kids. Maybe a kid comes to school in dirty clothes, filthy clothes. They can access these clothes. It can make a huge difference in the life of a child. And a child that enters a classroom feeling supported and loved and accepted is going to excel, instead of a child who goes in and feels beaten, discriminated, and picked on, who doesn't want to be there and just sits and stresses the entire time. So let's do this as a team, as a community. Let's lift our children up so that they can excel. Because, my love, they're worthy. They are so worthy. These kids, the kids you see in kindergarten eating paste and crayons today, will someday be community leaders. Believe it or not. I know, it's scary. They may be in the NFL. They may play Major League Ball. They may be in the White House. They may be in the Senate. It's hard to say. But let's give them the foundations that they deserve. If they're not getting the love and the support at home, let's give them the love and the support from the community, because every child is worthy. Every child is worthy.